Hello guys, welcome to another video of Nerdy Tech Tips channel. Today we're going to be learning how to set up your own private mail server. Now it is fully working email server I have achieved to set up, and also it is not being reported as spam. Most of the email servers, whenever you set it up very first time, your emails are going to tagged as a spam email, and I will show you how to overcome that. So it is a step-by-step guide. Do not skip anything on this tutorial. If you're going to skip, you might end up having trouble or issues with your email server. So let's get started. Stay tuned and make sure you do not skip any part of this video, otherwise you're gonna have a trouble. Let's get started. So in this first part of tutorial, I'm going to show you that some of the ports that are being blocked by my service provider, which is my internet service provider, which is Slingshot. And I'm going to select over here. There will be an option to turn off port filtering. As you can see, it is turned off because I have manually turned it off before. But I'll quickly show you. Usually your internet service provider will block these ports as listed in this article by my ISP, and these ports are very important and they should be unblocked. And if they are being blocked, you need to talk to your ISP, or you need to look for an option to give them a ring or log into the online portal as I did to turn off that option. So all these ports are unblocked: 25, 80, 443. These are the main ports that you will need. Now other ports for IMAP and POP3 are also there, so they should be unblocked as well. So I have gotten this out of the way, so it is not going to be a trouble for me. And if you're hosting your webmail server on cloud services as a VPS, you shouldn't worry about that part. And now we're gonna go ahead install Ubuntu on our Hyper-V virtual machine. So this is the another step I'm going to do, because I'm doing hosting on my PC at my home using my internet, which is not a commercial internet service. So basically you can go ahead and have a lot of issues while doing that, because you need to do lots of manual port forwarding. I'm going to quickly show you what ports you need to forward. I have already done the port forwarding, so it's not gonna take our time. You can take a snapshot of this video, or I will mention these ports under the description of this video so you can manually forward these ports. And now once again, you do not need to do this if you're doing a webmail server hosting on a VPS like DigitalOcean or G-Cloud or AWS or Microsoft Azure. So wherever you would like to host your webmail server depends on you, but these were the parts that were very crucial if you're doing a hosting at your house on your personal PC. Now another part which needs to be done in any case, you have to have a public domain if you want to send outgoing emails. Well, you would be able to send outgoing emails without public domain, but you won't be able to receive them. So we want to send and receive, and we don't want them to be marked as spam. So as you can see, I have nerdydetectives.com. Now every domain name provider has kind of a similar DNS setup, so you need to add a record pointing towards your public IP, and then you need to add another area code which will make it a subdomain. So I'm going to name it mail. So this will become mail.nerdydetectives.com. So this is very crucial. You need that as well. And another part you need is you need a MX record. So as you can see, I do have a DNS type MX in the list, you can see, which is named as @ and pointing towards mail.nerdydetectives.com. So these are the three records that are very crucial. You can go ahead and add text record at the very bottom. You can see at nerdydetectives.com, but it should work without it. If it's not working, you might end up adding that as well. So as you can see, that part is also done. Now I'm trying to do it as slow as possible if you're trying to follow the guide and doing it at the same time. So it totally depends on you. So let's go ahead and let's install Ubuntu on Hyper-V. Now you can skip the Ubuntu installation on Hyper-V if you're doing it on VPS, but those who are like me like to do at home and just like to live at edge, so you can do it at home and follow this guide. So I'm just gonna use the magic of video editing, and I'm going to do it fast forward, so you do not need to see all that time taken during the installation. So let's go ahead and fast forward this part. So during the fast forwarding, I just realized, slow down the video, that what I did is I went on I read mail, and I quickly wanted to show you that what operating system are supported, and you can choose one of them. Well, you can choose any other flavor as well, but you might not be able to get any support from I read mail, because they do provide you a support and they do have a support platform. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use Ubuntu 18.04 because it is fully supported and everything is supported in this OS. So I'm gonna copy the stable version link, because that's what we will be using to actually download and install it on our Ubuntu server. Let's go ahead with the fast forwarding part. So as you can see that now we have successfully installed Ubuntu on Hyper-V, and I've tested the internet connection is working. Now the very first thing on any Linux based operating system that you do is you check for updates, if there is any update available. Now we're using sudo. Sudo is actually kind of an administrator command, like we right click on Windows and say run it as administrator. So when you type sudo in front of anything or any command, that's basically same thing. So that's what we typed, sudo space apt space upgrade. Now basically when we type upgrade, it checks if there is an update available, and it will download the updates. Now to install them, you need to type sudo space apt space upgrade. So now it's installing all the updates that are available. Now I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this part as well.
What we do here is go back.
Now as you can see, it has completed. Now the next step is installing SSH server. So we're going to type sudo space apt space install space open SSH, and that minus or dash, whatever you call, server. It's gonna go ahead and install open SSH server, because we will be doing all kind of maintenance or updates or whatever you want to do using SSH. So that's a bit easier. If you're doing it in VPS, you might end up using SSH anyway, so that's why I wanted to show you guys. Now to check if your SSH is active, by default it should be automatically after installing. You should just type that sudo space systemctl space status space SSH, and it will tell you active and running. Now as you can see, we can't type further, and to type further commands you need to press Ctrl C, and when you press Ctrl C, it'll give you an option to type further commands. I just told you guys, there are people who are not aware about Linux operating systems and they don't know how to use it, like me. I've just learned it. So the next thing is we're going to allow our firewall to accept SSH and open the port for SSH. UFW is actually a firewall. So we're going to type sudo for administrator rights space UFW space allow space SSH. Now it has basically added that. And the next thing I'm showing you here is if config is not going to work straight away because you do not have any network tools available here. So we're going to go ahead and type that command sudo space apt and install the tools. So you can copy that. All the commands will be available under description. So if you type if config, you should be able to see the IP address. But anyway, you should have been able to see the IP by typing this command. You can see what I'm going to do it on screen now. So if you type IP and space A, it should give you an IP address that you're using. Now it's very hard to look for the IP address that way, but it's definitely there. If you look very carefully, you can see 10.10.0.6 is there, so you know what the IP address of your virtual machine is. But if you're using it a VPS or a cloud hosting, you will know your IP address because you will end up buying a static IP for your VPS server. Now it is saying there are software update available, but we have done that update already. We don't want to go through that again. Now we're going to minimize this or close this so it's not using as much as of a RAM in my computer. So that's why I want to use SSH. Now we're gonna go ahead and open command prompt and we're gonna remotely connect to our SSH server. I'm gonna do a bit of tuning here so it's better to see for you guys. I'm gonna increase the font size, change the color. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward that part because it's pretty useless for you guys. So now fonts are a bit bigger, easy to see, the color is also really shiny. So get started connecting via SSH. You might know how to connect with SSH, otherwise this is how you connect. SSH space, type username and @ type IP address, or if you have domain assigned, a local domain, you can type that as well. It will ask for your password. Remember to type yes here, and when you type password it will be connected to your server via SSH. Now from here it's pretty easy. Go back to iRead email, right click on stable, copy link location. Now that has copied the link of the file that we need to download on our server. So basically what we do is we need to type wget. So don't forget to type sudo. So also type sudo. Before we download, we also need to set up a host name. So over here what I'm doing is I'm setting up a host name, sudo space hostname ctl space set or dash hostname and then space whatever hostname you want to give. In my case, I'm going to give it mail.nerdytechtips.com because this is my public domain that I'm going to be using. So I want it to be matching with my public domain because when I'm sending emails out, it will be sending that data and it will be generating some signatures with the header that will be going towards the emails, so my emails will not get reported as spam, and if I configure all the DNS records properly. So this is very crucial. Type the same domain that you're using as your public domain. So as you can see, it asks for my password, hasn't given me any error, it has been done. So the next part, I'm going to download a mail server. So type wget space and paste whatever you copied in command prompt. This is how you paste. Basically now it's downloading all the files that what we need. Now it has successfully downloaded it. What we need to do is we need to extract what we have downloaded. So if it's a tar file, you type tar space xvf and you type the name of the file. You should be able to see the name of the file, what is saved. So you type it exactly how you see it. If it's capital letters, make sure you type capital letters, otherwise it's not gonna work. So now we have successfully downloaded. You can see all the files here. What we need to do is we need to go to this iRead mail folder. So I'm going to cd that. So cd space, type it how it is in front of you. You see R and M is capital. Make sure you make it capital, otherwise you won't be able to go in. So once you go in, list the directory. Now there is two ways you can list it that way. You can see all the directories. If you want more information, you can type ls space -l. Now that will give you a bit of more information when it was downloaded, and it's organized in an organized way, easy to look for a file that we need to run. In our case, we will be running iRead mail sh. It's a bash file which will be automatically setting up, downloading and installing everything for you. So this is how easy it is. So what you need to do is you need to sudo space bash and type this iReadmail.sh. Now it is going to do everything for you. There will be few steps that it will be asking you to type your domain name, what kind of server you want, what kind of GUI you want, because it has round cube for customers, or you can say for users, and there is an admin panel which is by default will be installed with iRead Mail. Now you have a choice. You can install PHP my admin. I think that's what it is. There are a few other admin panels you can install, but in the free version with iRedMail, it doesn't have many capabilities. And if you want to use every single feature, you might be doing it through command prompt. So I will recommend you to install a third-party admin panel. There are few available on the internet. I wouldn't be showing you how to install that, and if you request me, I might be able to show you in future. But for now, I want it to be working, and I want it to be not reported as spam, and want it to be working on a public domain, because I haven't came across any video that shows you from A to Z steps a full setup for your private mail server. Over here you can select your default features that are selected already. Now if you getting this command prompts or this GUI in your Ubuntu, you might be able to click with the cursor by clicking on next, but over here you won't be able to. You use a spacebar key to select the options, because we're doing it on Windows CMD command prompt, remember, and you hit enter to go next. So basically there's no changes. You keep going ahead next. You do have a capability to change your actually database server. You can choose MySQL, but in my case I just chose LDAP. Now whatever you want to do, you can do. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on next here. So it will ask you to set up some passwords. Remember, you write down each and every single password that you are going to set up. Otherwise, you will end up reinstalling your mail server. You won't be able to recover those passwords. However, it does give you your passwords at the end of the installation, but that's only for admin panel and default email address that is being created here. So over here, we're going to specify a password for your MySQL administrator as a root user on this server. And after you finish with that, I've just simply typed 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So we're gonna go ahead next. Over here we're going to type our mail domain name. So in my case, my mail domain name is nerdydetectives.com, and it cannot be the same as server host name like mail.nerdydetectives.com, because remember guys, this is a subdomain name, mail.nerdydetectives.com. We need to tell our server that we will be using nerdydetectives.com as a public domain. So we need to specify that over here. So let's go ahead and write that down. So once you click enter and go to next screen, as you can see, it is creating an email address, postmaster@nerdydetectives.com. The password that you're mentioning here is going to be for that email address, and you can use that email address to send emails and also log into admin panel, because it will have administrator rights. Now over here there are some additional components you can select and install. Well, basically, why you wanna leave any of the component. So I'm gonna click on spacebar key. So I'm gonna install web calendar and whatever it comes with. I'm going to install everything. Over here the config file has been created. You can review it, and accidentally if you have clicked no, or you if you have it enter key, do not worry, you don't have to go through the whole process again. Just verify everything here. You can see the additional components here, and round cube mail is basically a GUI for you our email. You can use any, you can use Outlook, or you can use Zimbra email client, whatever, you know, whatever flavor you like. Over here I purposely canceled it just to I just wanted to show you guys actually what happened. I've canceled it. The config file is already there, nothing has been deleted. If you run that command again, sudo bash iRedMail-sh, it'll basically find that config file again, and you can click yes, and that will go through the process of installing the features that are mentioned in this config file, so you do not have to go through that configuration screen again. So I will go ahead and fast forward this part again. So now I'm fast forwarding this part, and it's installing. Once it finishes installing, it will ask you to restart your firewall with the SSH port. Just hit yes and hit enter, and then type reboot. Now Over here you will see permission denied because I forgot to type sudo. Remember guys, administrator, so type sudo space reboot. It will reboot your server. Once you reboot it, you can SSH again, or you can just simply use its static IP or IP address to log in into your server. And I will show you what GUI you will be getting for your user accounts. Like you will be getting a GUI for Roundcube because we do not have any other client software installed or client interface, and we do not have any other admin panel installed basically. So we'll be using the default features that it has come up with and gotten installed with our mail server. Over here I'm going to change some IP addresses because the IP address over here is different for my port forwarding, which is 10.10.03. I'm going to forward all those ports to 10.10.06. So I'm going to be finished with the port forwarding pretty soon because it's being fast forwarded. I'm not that fast. My computer is definitely not that fast at this stage. So you can see our server has been restarted, connecting through SSH. I'm gonna type the IP address. Make sure you type https://10.10.0.6. As you can see, it's asking for security risk ahead, blah blah, because we are not using authenticated SSL. You can use Let's Encrypt to install legit certificates, but if you decide not to do that, don't worry about it because this is just
What
for
we
your
do here
web
is go
interface.
back, 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 back.
And there are SSL or TSL certificates created for your emails already, and they're not going to expire. You don't need to change them. If you wish to, you can, but you're gonna have your emails working properly and they're not gonna get reported as spam, so nothing to worry about. As you can see, we have logged into GUI. This is a client interface. Over here I have logged in with postmaster at nerdydetectives.com. It is just giving us a dummy PDF file. It is very annoying. It was keep coming up again and again, but definitely it's just a quick fix. You can fix that. And we're gonna go ahead and see the email that we received. This is a system email that is telling us the details what we have configured. As you can see, there is an IP address that not IP address, sorry, the password I have set up is 123456778, and there is an email address, and there are SSL certificates. You can change those. You can get it from your public domain. You can buy them. You can get them for free. You can generate them for free if you want to, using Let's Encrypt. So you wouldn't be getting that warning if you're giving access to your users, and if they are logging publicly, they wouldn't be getting that, annoying link, or not to say link, annoying warning, you would say, accept risk. So there's nothing to worry about that. So we're gonna go ahead and log in into actually admin panel. Over here you need to type I read, not mail. I made a mistake here. Actually you need to type I read admin. So as you can see, I've typed I read admin after a slash, and you can sign in with your email address that our system has generated, and we set up a password, pretty hard password that we got. So username is postmaster at nerdydetectives.com, and password is just 123456778, and you go ahead and log in with that. Once you're logged in, you should be able to see it is saying pricing and upgrade now. Well, make sure why upgrade. The above task can be done in the open source version with example command line tools or php myadmin. There you go. You can install third-party tools actually to manage your iRead admin panel. You don't need to actually buy this. If you wish to, you can, but all the features are included. Nothing to worry about. Everything is included. You just need a user interface to use them. However, they can be used using command interface. But we're gonna go ahead and create a new user here because I don't really like postmaster. I like it to be admin, so I'm going to go ahead and new user. This is how you basically add more email addresses. Users will be able to change their password if you install a nice GUI. It will give them a capability, but in this case they won't be able to. That is very limited. There are limited features they would be able to use on Roundcube. But however, you can install a better interface like Zimbra client interface or PHP My Admin for admin panel. Now, over here, you will get an email that there is a new user created. We're gonna log out and log in with admin user. It has admin rights as well. We made sure we clicked on it. Now we're just going to send out a test email. We just wanna see if we are able to send an email to our Gmail address. And also, where does it go? Does it go to junk email, spam box, or inbox? And why it happens? I'll quickly show you guys where it's going to end up and why it is going to end up there. So we're just going to type hello Gmail. I am not spam, or I am spam, or let's write I am spam. It should end up in spam folder according to what I see, because there is few settings that are still need to be configured, so it doesn't end up in spam. Now it is gonna take a little time, you just wait for it. And the reason why I have done the DNS configurations first before setting up my email server, because it does take some time to take effect on your DNS records. So it's always best practice to do that first. As you can see, our email has ended up in RIP spam folder. If we open it up and click on report as not spam, it is still gonna end up in spam folder. It doesn't really matter how many times you click on it, because Gmail, the way the big email companies look at emails is they look at a reputation of your domain, and also they go by your SPF and DKIM records. If they are not configured properly in your DNS records, your emails will be marked as spam. So let's see why it's ending up there. Check if your emails are authenticated. So why they are not authenticated? We'll quickly show you how you can check and how you can verify if your SPF and DKIM records are set up correctly. We're going to reply because we want to make sure that we are receiving outgoing emails as well. So we want to receive emails as well. This is you can say second last step of our email server setup. We want to make sure we are able to send emails as we tested. Now we want to make sure we are able to receive emails. So we want to receive that email in our inbox. We're just going to wait a little bit and maybe try refreshing it, because we haven't received any bounced email. If you see a bounced email, there is a problem with your DNS records. If you don't see any bounced email, it means there is no problem with your DNS records. There might be something else wrong. So let's wait a little bit. It is a little bit slow. Maybe DNS records hasn't taken place, or taken place changes, I would say. But we're going to keep refreshing. Oh, okay, let's see. We got an email here. You don't need to refresh. I just wanted to make it fast. It should appear automatically. As you can see, don't worry, I trust you. I sent that email from Gmail, so it has been received. Oh, the hard part is done. Now let's move on to easy part. Now we're going to go ahead and make sure that our emails are not being reported as spam. So the very first thing you need to do is you need to open a command prompt, log into your server via SSH, and also on the one side or on the other side, make sure you have your DNS tab open. I am with GoDaddy, so this is already there. You can see there are a few records. There is a text record which it does say v equal to spf1 space mx and then space -o. Now this is not complete. I just copied that from somewhere, from the website, random website, but I need to fix that. I did a bit of research how to fix that. Now you should be able to see the time changes. The email server installation was at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now it's 6 p.m. So I've been working on that all day, trying to work out why things are not working, some of the port problems and spam problem. It took me a while to understand and learn all of that. So you need to type your domain here. This is the complete setup. Whatever domain you bought, you need to type it with mx. v equal to spf1 space mx and type your domain. Make sure the structure is same, nothing is missing. SPF1 is completely configured there. The next thing is we need to add DKIM record. Now remember guys, I read somewhere online on the documentations that it has to be a CNAME record, but believe me or not, I tried that. It didn't work out for me. It might work out with other guys, or maybe other DNS providers, but it didn't work out with GoDaddy. I had to make a text record. Now, to get DKIM key, which is automatically generated by your mail server, and it is very specific to your mail server, you need to type that command. Make sure the command is typed and you're typing it with sudo, as I did. So I typed sudo space amavisd-new space showkeys. Type it exactly. You should be able to see your DKIM key. Now what we're going to do is we're going to click on add, and it will give us some tabs that we need to fill out. So we're going to select text. Well, under host you need to type, very simple, you type DKIM dot underscore domain key. That's all you gotta type here. Do not worry, whatever domain you have, whatever settings you have, you just basically type that under host. That will make other servers understand that this is a DKIM key and your DNS records will be configured properly. Now under text value, you need to copy from V. Alright, so we're going to copy that, and I'm going to paste that in Notepad for a reason. So I'm going to open a Notepad and paste all of that there, because I do need to remove all the commas that we got there. So we're going to slowly delete all the commas. Make sure you do not delete any other special symbols like slash or plus, whatever. Just delete the commas. So I'm gonna delete those. I don't know what they're called in English, pardon me, but I call them commas basically. So whatever they are, I'm getting rid of them. Once I've gotten rid of them, I'm gonna copy it again. So make sure you remove the braces, and there you go. So you copy the whole text again and paste it under text value. Alright, now we're going to save it. Once it's saved, you can see your record. Now you need to wait for a while if your domain is really old domain and you had a few old configurations, but this is fairly a new record, so every record is working instantly. Whatever changes I do, they work straight away. There is no delay, but usually there is a minimum 1 hour and maximum up to 24 hours delay in your DNS configuration, but I was able to do it instantly. So what I'm going to show you is our DKIM and SPF records. Are they being detected? Are they passing? You don't need to use any fancy commands. You just send out an outgoing email to your Gmail address, testing DKIM SPF. So test, run, and we're going to send it. Let's see what happens. So first, it is going to end up in spam. Not to worry if it hasn't, if the records hasn't been updated properly or hasn't taken, it hasn't taken its time, because DNS records does take time. As you can see, it is ending up in spam folder, but not to worry. You can still click on not as spam. Once you click on not as spam, it will go into your inbox. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do another test, because we haven't been able to really find it, but we can maybe try. Click on show original. Over here you should be able to see SPF pass and DKIM pass. Now I've taken a little time to test it and made sure that it is passed. Now I'm going to test another email, but I'm going to test that email from my admin account that I created previously. So I'm going to log out of that Postmaster account, and let's log in into admin account. Let's see what happens. We're going to send out another email, and according to me, it should not go into spam folder anymore. Well, it might be ending up into spam folder for like Outlook emails or any other emails, but slowly it will gain its reputation, and your emails will be actually authenticated for every email service provider, and they will not be marking as spam. And if you got a good reputation for your public IP and you're not spamming people, if a
What
lot of
we
people
do
are
here is go
clicking on your
back, back,
emails and
back,
reporting it
back,
as
back,
spam,
back.
but your emails are gonna end up in spam folder no matter what you do. So let's wait for it. There's no emails here. We're gonna go on inbox and maybe refresh. Let's see. Hopefully it comes in inbox. Oh, there's one email. Let's go ahead and check it. Primary. Oh, there you go. See, it's not coming up in spam folder anymore. So there you go. If you followed every single step and your mail server is up and running, let me know. Comment down below if you're running into trouble. I will try my best to help you out. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for your support, guys. Bye for now.